We've been getting to know on a more personal level a lot of our community's first responders this week. And when we think about those we've interviewed through the years, one really sticks out.
That would be the King. So today, we take you back. All right, so let's start this part of the show with a quick trip down memory lane. What were you doing in 1973? Richard Nixon was in the White House. He'd already met Elvis, who asked, by the way, for a badge from the Department of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, and the Watergate scandal was just beginning to unfold.
America's part in the Vietnam War was wrapping up, and the oil crisis was just getting underway. We were in the middle of the Cold War with Russia, and Americans were setting records, spending time in space aboard Skylab. And John Ryall was beginning his career as a police officer. And with us today in historic Studio D is Laurel Police Officer Corporal John Ryall. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Okay, after 45 years of being a police officer, you're retiring us, so take us back to all of the duties you've had over the years.
Okay, well, and when I was a little boy, I grew up in Laurel, Delaware, on the Bethel Road, on the Woodland Road, and I always wanted to be a police officer. I just used to run around with my gun, my water pistol, and my handcuffs hanging out, and I always wanted to be a police officer. Well, I would always play that part, and my neighborhood friends would always be the robbers, and I would be the cop.
You're the good guy.
Yeah. So we would go around, and if I had a chance to like tag one of them, well, they had to go to jail. Well, my father's garage served as our jail, our shed, so I put a little stick in the locking mechanism, and I keep them in there for about 10 minutes. Then I'd let them out. Well, one day my dad come home, and he told me, he says, your jail's done. He says, because some of my wood projects got messed up in there.
Oh, no.
And here's the padlock, and you're done.
So I imagine after 45 years, you've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Is there one story in particular that stands out in your mind that you can tell us?
Well, just there's been a lot of, as you know, being a police officer, you see a lot of the good, but you see a lot of the bad too. And it's just, you know, you just have to kind of put it in perspective and just go ahead and try to cope with it if you see an accident where a child's involved or something like that.
That has to be hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. You think about it a lot when you go home.
Yeah, well, then first, thank you for what you do. That is very valuable to us. Now, yesterday, many in the Laurel community know you for traffic control there around the schools, and then yesterday, this happened. I got to tell you, you make a pretty darn good-looking Elvis here. What was it? What was this all about? What was going on here, Corporal?
Well, I did a benefit up at the fire hall about a year ago.
Yeah.
Thanks to Miss Ann Hill, who's in the ladies auxiliary, and she says, well, you like Elvis, do you have a suit? I said, well, I can get one. So I went up and I sang a little bit. It was for the burn camp, Delaware burn camp.
Yeah.
So I did that up there, and then I said, well, I asked the chief, I said, can I go out and just dress up in my uniform my last day? He said, hey, go for it.
So this was your last day as traffic control?
Yes. He said, after 40-some years, I don't care.
Yeah.
He said, just don't get run over, because I would have a hard time explaining to the insurance company about Elvis at the intersection.
We don't
that would be interesting. Okay, so you dressed up as Elvis because yesterday was your last day directing traffic.
Yes,
you're not retiring from the force until September the 1st.
Yes,
Okay, the Laurel Fire Department, pretty tight-knit group, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I grew up, my mom and dad and about 8 uncles and family members were in the Laurel Fire Department. That building we're in as the police department used to be the fire department.
Right,
and I kind of grew up in that building because Mom and Dad would be up there at the ladies auxiliary and everything, and that's when I asked the chief one time if I could see the jail. That was about when I was 7 years old, but I've always, that building seemed like home to me, you know, so.
If you were, you know, you have new recruits all the time, what would you tell a new recruit, knowing everything that you know now?
Community policing is a good thing, because a lot of times we get tarnished with some bad actions from others, and you know, you just need to keep a positive image going, and stopping into a business like I do and saying hi at the library, how are you doing, have you got any problems, and everything's fine, and then I go ahead and walk around to the bank. So that means a lot.
Advice to new recruits: I really expected have your Elvis suit ready, because you never know when.
Well, you're giving that advice now.
Yeah, let's go with that.